Well, hey, welcome back, everybody. How you been? How is life treating you, my friends? Life's pretty good for the professor, I guess. Not too much to complain about. Well, I guess there is, but that's the thing, man. Nobody really wants to hear you complaining, do they? Not really. So I guess probably where to start is kind of with a review of what has been going on here. Right? We've had all kinds of just melee action on the page. All kinds of video trailers. We've been reworking some of our stuff. Some of the reworks. We've upgraded our camera. We've gotten a green screen. I need to figure out how to how to actually work that green screen, right? And get that as part of the part of our operation here. We got some new channel art. We got a new little logo of me as professor, and that is a excuse me while I hydrate on coffee. That is a picture of Professor X that I superimposed my face on. Yes, I will now become the new Professor X. So kind of our weekend review. We started off with Rahika Apte talking about her experience on working on that film. I had the dude from Gangs of Wasseypur on it, Nazdunin Sadiqua, and it was the story about cutting a road through the rock. So we had a interview of her, interview clip as she was talking about working with the director, working on that set, and I found it interesting. I think Rahika Apte is one of my favorite actresses. In Bollywood, she's not a traditional beauty. She's not fair-skinned, but I think she has a certain, as the French say, je ne sais quoi about her and how she goes about her business. And I've seen her in some short films, and I've never walked away thinking, wow, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. And so we played a little bit of the interview clip for that. We had my birthday celebration, which was kind of lame. We saw a lot of Russian trailers, but I won't get into that with you because this is really kind of the Bollywood podcast. I watched an independent, I think it was an independent film, a short film. I think it was 18 minutes long. And it had one of the guys from Gangs of Wasseypur. He was kind of I think he was the son, because we had that generational where you had kind of had grandfather, son, grandson, and kind of great-grandsons of the outlaw. And he was the second generation of it. And he looked familiar to me, but I couldn't quite place it because he has hair. Because in Gangs of Wasseypur, he was like a cue ball, but just had it shaved down. And he did a little short film, and it had Rahika Apte in it, and I really enjoyed it. And so what we did is we did a movie commentary on that. And there's a little bit of confusion about the movie commentaries, like I don't understand what the hell's going on, Professor. Well, in the States, you see a lot of this. Collider does it, where they watch a film, and the idea is you get a copy of the film, you cue it up with us. We give you cues on where to cue it up, and then you press play. And you just basically you watch the film and you just listen to our commentary, and it may be a question about the film, it may be making fun of it, it may be some kind of insight or a thought about something, and that's kind of the idea. So we did Kurti. I really enjoyed it. Again, you put Rahika Apte into anything, and I'll watch it. Very enjoyable. We did the Hell March, Indian Army. And I was surprised at how many people liked the video. Like, in the States, unfortunately, in America, people just don't care about the military. But I was really moved to see how much positive response came by my fellow YouTubers of watching the video and liking it. It was very patriotic, I thought. I really enjoyed it. My favorite part was the Camel Brigade. I'm not going to lie. Anytime you put up camels like that, I mean, that looked pretty cool. It's something that you just don't see. And when I was a kid, I always used to like the mounted police here in America. Chicago had them. I grew up in the Chicagoland area. And every now and then you would see the cops come out on horses. And it was just weird because you're in the city and there are people riding horses, which is kind of counterintuitive to what you're used to seeing. On that video, 3 people disliked it. And I was like, oh, you dislike this beautiful show of Indians' power? And mine at well, no, trolls are everywhere, right? Again, we had a lot of more Russian stuff. And people have asked me, Professor, why are you doing Russian films? Well, it goes back to a In the Nutshell video that I did, and it was kind of the history of Bollywood. And one of the things that you start to realize quickly as you look at the history of Bollywood is there's a huge Soviet influence in that. And it just seemed to me like, well, if we're going to explore different movies, we should look at the Russian movie industry. So many of their actors kind of blend over, especially the women blend over into Bollywood, because it seems like the Bollywood producers are always looking for that fairer skin. Yeah, I don't. Okay, to each his own, I guess, and every culture has its norms, but I just don't get it. I think. That was slurping on coffee. That's what you heard there. The coffee's too hot, and so I had to slurp at it. I don't get it. They're, whatever. I mean, when you say people have their norms, I think beauty is beauty. And, anyways, I'm about to derail on that, and let's just pull it back. We're going to pull it back. Pull it back, son. Veer Zara. I did a trailer reaction to it. Saw the movie, did a movie review on it. Enjoyed the movie. I think SRK, just from my experience of watching him, and I think I've seen maybe 4 films now, a bunch of trailers, 4 films. He, I think when you get him in a traditional Bollywood role with singing and dancing and the colors and the love story, I think that's where he's at his strongest. You can see why he is King Khan, right? You can definitely see it. But as you start taking those elements away, I think he begins to just collapse in on his self with the weight of his stardom. And, my name is Khan. You kind of saw that happen with him. But it was interesting to see him in this role. I mean, I think this was the finest performance that I've seen SRK in. Now, there may be others, and you guys have shared, like, what about this, what about that? And I will eventually make my way in seeing all of them. And that's one thing, too, I just want to encourage you guys on. When you guys send me lists, and whether it's email or through Facebook, or you guys, put comments in the comment section about, hey, check this out, check that out. I want you guys to know I download everything and I make it a list, and I kind of just work on first in, first out. I'll go through and take a look at something. If it's like 18 minutes of political talking, I'm probably not going to do it, because it's just a long time to get through for everybody. And I try to watch everything I can, just to see what is worthy or what is not worthy. And if you're overlooked, please don't take offense to that. It's just a matter of time and resources, like with anything. I am a one-man show, kind of. The Warrior Queen will show up periodically, but going through all this stuff just takes time. And with my vocation, my job, what the hell is that? I have no idea what that is. Oh, somebody's calling me on Facebook. Let's see if this works. Hello? 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 I'm good. How you doing? I got to warn you. You're probably going to be on the Bollywood podcast coming up. We're recording it right now, and I've never gotten a Facebook call before. And so I'm thinking, what is that noise? What is that noise? And I went ahead and answered, and here you are. This is Saring Sarif. Did I say that right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, I did. Hey, I watched your video, and did
My video.
what's that?
I saw your comment on my video.
Did you make that video yourself?
Yes, yes, I made that video.
Oh, wow. That's really talented. Are you going to do this like for a career?
No. This is my interest video editing.
Mm,
Started it regarding it.
really? Wow. I thought that was really good. I liked how you did it and manipulated it. It looked like I couldn't tell if you were watching something, like that's what WWE did, but you did that. Wow, good job, man. You're a very talented young man. I'm sure your parents are very proud of you. So what are you up to? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You said that you are going to review my channel this weekend, but you didn't do it.
Oh, you want me to do like a review on it? You just didn't want me to watch the videos. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't get what you said.
You wanted me to like do a review for your channel, not I thought you meant like watch your videos.
No. I said review my channel, and you promised me that you are
Okay.
going to review it.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we will review your channel then. How's that?
That will be great if you.
Okay. I will do that. Well, Saring, let me get going so I can get cracking on that for you, okay?
Okay, I'm sorry if I'm disturbing you.
Oh, no, that's okay. But you'll probably be on the podcast, so I hope you don't mind.
Okay, yes, I will.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and pull up his channel. Well, let's finish our thought here, and we'll kind of go through. So that was that was a young man who wanted me to review his channel, and I misunderstood him. I don't know how much of this you'll hear on the actual podcast. We watched Sing 6 which was a lot of fun, and I was kind of surprised at how hateful everybody was about it. We did Veer Zar's movie review, and again, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was one of his best films. It was just a great story. I'm looking forward to doing more. We had Irfan Khan versus the Muslim clerics, and he was kind of the idea of sacrifice. We talked about that. We did the EIC outrage on the Pakistani actors, and I have to tell you what, I tend to agree, because one of the things that I find is we talk about terrorism, when that kind of comes up, or the world events are coming up with the different attacks and whatnot. I'm really surprised at how many people get upset about the fact that you call terrorism. You know what I mean? Like you say, well, that it's not good. That somehow. It reminds me a lot of, the extremists. They seem to be the same everywhere. It reminds me a lot of the Palestinians. You go and you blow yourself up and you kill people, and then yet, you're upset when people condemn you. I don't. It's just like this huge PC disconnect, and I'm amazed by it. I am truly, truly amazed by it. We had, the Gun Day trailer reaction, Irfan Khan, and I got this thing going on this playlist called King Khan, and it's really kind of King Khan is just up for you to decide who is the best Khan, and I'm going to be putting in just clips of the different Khans, and share them and talk about them and whatnot. We had Sam and Dave bringing the heat with the top 8 WTF Indian ads. Which was good. It was good to see those guys. We're actually working on a parody of their channel, in the Warrior Queen. Indian Snipers versus the Professor. I absolutely loved that video. I loved it. It was cool to watch the snipers go after it. We had the Dear Life film with SRK, the trailer reaction. I really enjoyed that. That looked kind of interesting to see. Then we got to Dangle. I did the trailer for it, and it got blocked worldwide, and everybody noticed it. And they ask questions, why did it get blocked? So then I did I gave you a reaction of the original footage without the trailer, just to kind of show you my initial reaction. Then we did the UTV Can Suck It, take number 2, which we had a lot of fun, and of course some of you got upset about that. And then I gave you an overreaction, and I know you guys don't like the overreactions, but here's the thing with overreactions. Number one, it's harder for videos to get blocked that way. It's also harder for videos to get copywritten that way. It has to be done by a manual. It has to be done by a manual request to block the overreaction videos or to copyright it. And the hard part then becomes on YouTube is what exactly are you blocking? Because there's a video within a video within a video, and it causes all kinds of confusion. And just a tip for you guys out there who are doing YouTube, if you do overreaction style videos, you know 80% of the time there's no copyright hit because they don't know what to copyright. It becomes a cluttered mess, and you get the revenue on it. Life of Pi. Now, Life of Pi, I'm going to say a few years ago, I was selling a bunch of movies on eBay, and I went into a Black Friday at Walmart, which is a chain out here in America, and they are selling Life of Pi for like $1 new. And I bought 10 copies, and I sold them on eBay or whatever. And I never saw the film. Never saw the film. I've seen pieces of it back and forth. It's been on TV, and I've kind of, leaving the room, doing this, doing that. It was narrated by Irfan Khan, who, of course, is my favorite of the Khans. And one of our friends made a comment in here that's based on a novel, and this is actually kind of a metaphor for cannibalism, which I had no idea. Like, I'm interested to watch this with fresh eyes now, and kind of go from there with it. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and we're going to stop here, and we'll switch over to video mode. How's that? We're going to switch over to video mode, and we're going to take a look at that channel. So let's just go ahead and bear with me for re-entry.
Making of AJ Styles theme song with flashing arena effects. A day I was watching Tuesday Night SmackDown on WWE Network, so I noticed AJ Styles entrance. They made this great arena for AJ Styles, for everyone. Randy Orton entrance, Seth Rollins entrance. But I like this flashing effects inserted in this arena, so I captured every single frame of this video. You notice here the arena is flashing, then lights are off, again flash off. So I captured these frames, every single frame of this video, and inserted here. Flash, no flash. I really don't had any idea when I combined these two snaps then what it will result, but it looks something like this. I also inserted some flashes, extra flashes, where I found some beats in this audio song. Yes, this is that one. I made this photo more bright than before and captured that frame and added that in this video. And this is the original image of the video. You see that this really looks great. So combination of these two images made a great video for me. I hope you are enjoying it. Thanks for watching.
Okay, well, welcome back after that. I think probably the next thing to talk about is the Amir Khan and UTV kind of controversy where it comes into dealing with movie community college. There was a trailer that was released for Dangled, starring Amir Khan, and we did a trailer reaction to it. We took a look at it, we watched it. The trailer was good. Having a background in wrestling, I always like wrestling films. They're kind of few and far between. Even when you go through the different genres. And what I mean by that is Hollywood, Bollywood, wherever. You just don't see a whole lot of wrestling films made. And it's really about the sport, I think, growing up as a wrestler, is about self-discipline. Your greatest opponent is you. Really, during the training, you find out a lot about yourself when you start training for wrestling. And so I watched the trailer, and it was really good. I liked the trailer. I like Amir Khan. I really do. I think he's a good actor. And we put our trailer reaction together like everybody else. I probably saw 25, 30-ish trailer reactions by various people on YouTube. And we get the notice that we're being blocked worldwide. And we have this problem with AJ Devgan and his film crew, UTV. There are a handful of players who like to block us. They don't want us commenting. And so when you get a block or a copyright strike or something like that, where YouTube is taking some kind of action against your video, what they always do is they notify you of was this a manual detection or automated? And what does that mean? Automated is that the robots are going through and just flagging things. Maybe you said something about a film that I don't know. You use profanity, like they use the robots to look for F-bombs, so they can flag it as inappropriate. And sometimes the robots are right, sometimes they're wrong, depending on it. A manual detection is somebody watched it and said, we're stopping this. And so they issued a manual block on me, which is fine, whatever, it's their right. And but when they do that, they give you contact info, so you can kind of appeal to the person. You can appeal to YouTube. You can kind of go through this process. So I appealed it, and what I got back was a statement. And the statement just said that due to our copyright, and they quoted law ordinances. We don't feel that this is keeping in step with you commenting on the videos. Is keeping in step with the tone that we want to go forward, and we don't want to be associated with hate speech. The hate speech that I mentioned, that I said, was talk about that was referenced in it was videos that we've done on the subject of terrorism and extremism. I don't think that's really hate speech, but that's fine. They own it. They have the right to stop distribution of it. And so when it comes to certain people and certain groups, we have to be creative in how we go about showing what we're doing. And a lot of you have pointed out that, that it's unfair because other people are being allowed to do it, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. And I I don't fault the company for it at all. It's just, it is what it is. Our channel is different than I think a lot of people. I think you're going to get, in addition to honest reactions and my opinion on things, you're going to get a little divisiveness. You're going to get some of that, which is fine, I guess. But here's the interesting thing, and this is kind of what's going to take me into, I think, probably the bigger picture of this, is I think Bollywood's in trouble. I really do. And here's why I say that. We see Disney is pulling out of UTV, out of UTV India. It's breaking ties with UTV and it's moving away. That's a huge source of capital. That's a huge source of creative interest, of ability, of resources. And I think it's going to leave UT kind of scrambling a bit. I also have been noticing a trend in the Bollywood films of where they're trying to break away from the kind of their traditional song and dance element of what they do, and it really looks like it's taking more of a Hollywood feel, and that concerns me. That concerns me a lot because what makes Bollywood, in my opinion, is a great story mixed with some singing and dancing. Now, you find some of the singing and dancing they still kind of incorporate, and having some films that aren't like that is fine. Airlift, kind of hard to make that into a musical, right? But we do see a little singing and dancing. You get a little bit of it at a party. You see a little bit of singing and dancing in Parched, but it's kind of in the context of the strip club or things of that nature. So that it's still there, but it really kind of seems that Bollywood is turning the corner on producing Bollywood films. It's like everybody wants to be a serious actor now or action star and not have that in there. And I think what will end up happening is the Bollywood success and growth that has happened. It's now going to morph the industry into something different and enter into a whole new realm of existence. And I don't know how that will play necessarily. But it is alarming to me. It is alarming to see that happening. It is alarming to see these things go on. Seeing more use of nudity in Bollywood films, which and again, I don't have a great knowledge of Bollywood. I watch films probably once or twice a week and try to work through some things just so I can get more familiar with it. But it's almost like there's a coarsening going on in Bollywood, a hardening of the soul. It's losing its sweetness. It's losing its innocence. It's becoming, kind of grown up as a film industry. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad to see that. I wish we could have more of a balance. But I guess it's with anything. In America, we have a director named Michael Bay who every American hates because of the disaster that he's done with the Transformer films. But they make millions and millions and millions and literally billions outside of America. And so these films aren't made for Americans anymore. And, so they don't really care when the American audience is like, God, it's terrible, we ain't going to go see that. They know China will go see it. And so there's kind of, that feels a little bit like a Judas kiss where the American film industry has said to the American people, that's fine, whatever. This is made for China. This is, it's like, wait a minute, this is an American film. It should be made for Americans. And maybe that's just my own warped sense of nationalism And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen with Bollywood. You know, you see some of these stars really kind of getting into politicalness about things. You know, like I mentioned, AJ Devgan is one who doesn't want me commenting on any of his films. Whatever, dude. You know, Amir Khan doesn't want me commenting on his films, so I have to be careful how I do it. There are certain copyright laws that apply. That, you know, you can do things in a certain way and there's nothing they can do about it. You know, SRK, I think out of all the cons, he's the one that I've been the hardest on. You know, saying he has no issue. You know, we've heard nothing from his camp. We put up things. Matter of fact, SRK, you know, his new film company, was it Chili Peppers or Red Chili Entertainment? They actually have given releases on the stuff that they're doing so that we can talk about it. And I really think that's really cool. You know, I think because what we've been finding is I'm trying to figure out the best way of saying this. I guess I'll just say it. What we have found are people who align themselves with a radical ideology tend to want to ban our freedom of speech. And I'm really surprised because I know that SRK, his faith is different than my faith and different than India's faith. And he's been very gracious and kind in everything. And I have a lot of respect for that. I really do. But it'll be interesting to see where the industry goes. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what kind of stories we get in the future of Bollywood. What kind of movies? Will there be a throwback to some kind of singing and dancing? You know, it's just strange to see it morphing. And I don't know, maybe from the Indians' point of view, it has been morphing, and I'm just very, very late to the party, which very well could be. But I think probably going forward, what we're going to see is we're going to see a hardening of film presentation. We're going to see a more of an Americanized film production. I think you're going to see more bleed over happening with stars. I tell you what, man, if you ever did a Rock and Salman Khan film or a Rock and SRK film, it'd probably be the biggest film ever made, box office wise. I think you're going to see UTV really struggle without Disney's support or money, and I think as this film industry takes a turn and moves more towards the West style of storytelling, you're going to see a consolidation of talent. You're going to see a consolidation of players because you're not going to be able to really compete how it was. And so you'll see either American companies moving in, like Fox Hindi, you know, Fox Star Hindi. You'll see some of these American companies come over and try to get into the Indian film market. Very, very lucrative. When you go through and you look at the financials on these films, as compared to an American film, very low budgets, very, very low budgets, and some of them have really good returns on them. And you know, in America, a $40 million budget is considered like peanuts. Like they're just $40 million. You know, and you look at some of the Indian films, the budgets are $17 million. You know, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the potential to Hollywood. Bollywood is like going to Vegas. You know. Like, boy, the dollar goes far, let's go and gamble. And I think, unfortunately, as you see more just kind of foreign influence coming in, that you'll see things change. I don't think it will be long before you see a mainstream Bollywood film, you know, showing something like homosexuality in a positive light. Here's one thing I am concerned about, and you guys listen to this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. I watched Parched, and I thought it was a great film. And Parch got me to start thinking, because somebody has said this about me. And I'd like to get your guys' opinion on this. Do you think, and what was said about me is that I buy into the Hindu agenda, that I'm a puppet for the Hindu agenda, whatever, get out of here. But do you think that there will be films made that are anti-Hindu, because you have this conflict going on between Pakistan and India? Do you foresee the day that there will be, kind of anti-Hindu films? And I don't mean like the Sikh film where the Sikhs were killed. I mean, that was a historical thing that happened. That's not but what I'm saying is, I found it curious, like in Parch, that we were seeing the finale to everything during the Lord Krishna carnival going on, kind of comparing, contrasting in that. But I'm not convinced that that's the purpose of the footage. But you see the abusive husband, spoiler alert, fall into the fire, and then it's, and they're burning down the evil during Lord Krishna's defeating of whatever, the dark demon. Do you think that there's going to be a movement of anti-Hindu films? I mean, I would be curious to hear your thoughts on that, because it just seems like, looking at trends points, right? And here's what I'm going to say about this, because right now there's an idea, like, if something happens one time, it's a point on a graph, just a dot, doesn't mean anything, just a point. Something happens 2 times, it's a trend. 3 times, it's a pattern, right? So, do you think that we'll see the day where there are going to be anti-Hindu films? It would be just as retaliation that you'll find film companies who will want to try to, bring that down. We find a lot of it in American film when it comes to anti-Christian films, that they make films purposely to make Christians look, completely ridiculous or completely evil or however. I'd be curious to see how that plays out. Anyways, please share your thoughts on that with me. I would love to hear that, because I think that would be interesting. And if you have any examples of any anti-Hindu films, I would love to take a look at them and explore that topic. It fascinates me. Well, I think that's all the time we're going to have right now for the podcast. This has been episode 14. We'll come back and, next time we'll talk about the film Parched. I absolutely loved it, and I'll give you guys a good review on it. And anyways, be safe, take care, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.